999 points of Space Marines. So we've got Aldous Priamus in the centre here at the front with his Relic Blade and Stormbolter, Charos the Librarian with Forstave and Stormbolter, and the Chaplain with Crozius Arcanum, and although he's modelled with a Stormbolter, he's actually carrying a bolt pistol, otherwise I'd be over points. And then got the Terminator squad, so we've got the Sergeant with a Power Sword and Storm Shield, who is just there. Then we've got two armed with Heavy Bolters and Chain Fists, one with a Heavy Bolter and a Power Fist, and then one with a Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon and a Chain Fist. And we then have 8 Hellblasters split into 2 4-man squads just over the back there, and 16 Intercessors. So we've got 2 squads of 5 and 1 squad of 6, and you'll see in there's actually a few Reavers because I only actually have 13 Intercessors painted at the moment, so there's 3 Reavers in there, 1 in each squad, who will be the first casualties. So that's it, that's 999 points of Space Marines. So here's 1000 points of Chaos. So we've got Bannock Baneblade leading this army. That's him at the front there with his Combi Bolter and Lightning Claw. He's a Chaos Lord in Terminator armour. We've then got Black Zebediah, the Sorcerer, Bolt Pistol and Forstave. And we've then got a Terminator squad, 5 Terminators. Got the Champion with a Combi Bolter and a Power Axe. We've then got one with 2 Lightning Claws, one with a Combi Bolter and a Lightning Claw, one with a Combi Melter and a Power Maul, and one with a Combi Flamer and a Lightning Claw. We've then got 20 Chaos Berserkers just in the middle here, led by a Champion with a Lightning Claw and a Bolt Pistol. And then we've got another 10 Berserkers just over here, led by a Champion with a Chain Axe. There is one, you can just see just there, who's a proxy, who'll be the first to go. And then we've got the Desolate ones, 14 Berserkers there, so 10 with chainswords, 4 with chain axes, and then a power axe on the Champion. And then finally 13 cultists, and in there we've got 1 auto gun, a flamer and a shotgun on the Champion. So that's it, 999 points of Chaos. So here's the table that we're fighting over today. We've got Space Marines all deployed on this end of the table, up to 24 inches in depth, up to this line of white dice. So we've got the command group and the Terminators in the centre here. All of the Hellblasters just in this room, and then we've got the 3 Intercessor squads just covering the objective just there, and just here, and this objective just here. The opponent's army are represented by these red markers. So there's one here, one in the room just there, another one over the way, behind the barrels, just in this little corridor, and then 2 in that room just over that side. Now there are 4 objectives on the table. So there's number 1 here, number 2 at this end we've already seen, number 4 just over the far side, and number 3, which is all the way down here in this corner. Victory points at the end of each turn. 1 point for the objective in your own deployment zone, and 3 for the objective in your opponent's deployment zone. It'd be quite easy for each side just to sit on their home objectives. However, what these little chevroned sections here represent are transport pads. So any unit that ends their move on a transport pad, only 1 model needs to end on that pad, can automatically transport across to the opposite end of the table. That counts as basically disembarking, so they can't then move again, if that makes sense. However, because it's such a risky business, every model in the unit has to roll a d6, and on a 6, that model is immediately slain. So there is a risk involved in bouncing across the table, but just in terms of acquiring victory points, it's an option that is available. The central area here represents like a loading dock or a flight deck of some description. There's a little bit of cover in here just to assist in terms of making it a bit more of an interesting battle. The doors are all currently closed. They can be opened by ending a move adjacent within 1 inches of the door. You can then decide to open the door. If there's an enemy model within 1 inch on the other side of the door, then it's a d6 roll, d6 roll off, I should say, and the winner of the roll off decides whether the door opens or not. If the roll is tied, the door stays either shut or open depending on what it is at the time. What else have we got? So we're doing some special rules for this game. So we've got what's called the explosion rule, which is a 2 command point. I'll come on to command points in a minute, but you spend 2 command points basically, provided a model or a unit has not moved in the movement phase. They can fiddle with some wiring and cause an explosion at a pre-decided point on the tabletop. Any models within 3 inches of that point roll a d6, and on a 6 they take a mortal wound. Special rules for grenades. We're using a 6-inch template for grenades because of the confines of the tunnels. So there's the template, and basically what will happen is if a grenade is thrown, there's a chance that it may ricochet off a pipe or bounce off a bulkhead and land at the throwing model's feet or very close by. So range for grenades is d6 plus 1 inches. So you could roll anything from a 2 up to a 7. If you roll a 7, then great, because the 6-inch template will go over the point at which the grenade reaches. But obviously if you roll anything from a sort of a 4 downwards, there's a risk that the explosion could also hit the person that threw the grenade in the first place. And then for flamers, in addition to normal damage on a roll of 6, will cause a mortal wound, again just because of the confines of the space that we're in. Now there are no flamers on the Space Marine side. I don't even think the Terminators have got any. No, they haven't. However, I know that the Chaos side do have some flamers, so that rule may come in at some point in the future. In terms of turns, there's no turn limit. We're just going to play until one or the other side is either annihilated or concedes. And in terms of command points, each side will have 10 command points for this game. So that's pretty much it. In terms of the Chaos side deciding when to appear on the table, they can appear to decide to appear at any time. We're going to roll for first turn anyway, and yeah, obviously based on where the markers are, that'll probably dictate what appears where, because obviously a unit of 20 berserkers is not going to fit in that little space. But the Chaos side will decide what appears and when. That's pretty much it for setup. So let's get cracking with a roll off for first turn. So we've got blue for Space Marines and white for Chaos. So Chaos will win. Space Marines are going to try and seize the initiative. And they do not. So Chaos will go first. Turn 1 coming right up. So it's Chaos turn number 1, and we're looking at a load of blips at the moment. One thing I didn't mention earlier on is that the blips will have to be revealed if they come within 12 inches of a Space Marine unit. And normal things apply, so this unit here can't use the teleport pad until there is enough space to get that unit out at the far side. So, for example, they can't charge across the teleport pad to attack that unit over there. So anyway, movement phase, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that door and open that door, and then I'm going to move this blip up. I'm going to move this blip up to that door and open it, and this blip is going to open that door. This blip staying put, and this blip is going to move to this door and open it. That is the end of the chaos turn. There's no psychic, no shooting. The other thing obviously is if the chaos side shoots, they'll become immediately visible, so they're not going to shoot this turn, and therefore no charges, no fighting, and no morale. So that is the end of Chaos turn number 1. Space Marines turn 1 is coming up. So Space Marines turn number 1, and this unit have just opened this door. This unit have moved across and opened this door. Same here, moved and opened the door. The Hellblasters have opened the door, and the squad at the back has just moved through into the main area, and then the Terminators and the command squad have just moved forwards onto the floor of the loading bay. That's the end of the Space Marines movement phase. No psychic this round. There's no shooting, no charging, no fighting, no morale, so that's it. Turn 1 is over. Turn 2 is where the fun begins, coming up next. So at the end of movement for Chaos in turn number 2, and we can see that 2 blips that were here have moved forwards and decided to show themselves. So we've got the Desolate Ones and the 13 Cultists, and then just over here the 2 single blips that were just in this area have moved forwards and revealed themselves as well. So we've got the Chaos Lord and the Sorcerer, and then the blip that was next to this transport pad has popped out right over here. This is the 5 Chaos Terminators, rolled 5d6 and lost none of those on the way through that transport pad, and because these guys had moved, there's obviously an inch or more between them, so that was a nice little surprise for these intercessors. So that's movement complete. We're looking at Psychic next. So because I wanted to keep this game as basic and straightforward and quick and fun as possible, both Psychers have only got Smite. So this guy is going to attempt to smite the Terminators just over the front of this command squad, which he gets on an 8. Can the Librarian deny it? Yes, he can. So that's the end of Psychic, and shooting is next. So the Sorcerer's bolt pistol is out of range. Combi bolter here is in range of the Terminators. 2 shots, hitting on 2s. 1 hit, 1 wound, which is not saved. So that's 1 wound off of the Terminators. And the only other weapon that's in range is the heavy stubber on the Cultists, which is going to shoot through again into the Terminators. 3 shots, heavy, so 2 hits, 2 wounds, but both are saved. And then over the back here to these guys. So we've got the Reaper auto cannon, which is saved. We've then got 2 storm bolters, which is saved, and then there's the melter in there as well. Okay, so that takes out, I believe, one of the intercessors. So it's actually 2 shots at D4 damage. Oh, sorry, let me just double check that. So multi-melter. D6 damage. So 2 shots at D6 damage basically kills 2 intercessors. So there we go, those 2 are slain. That's the end of shooting. Charges are next. Obviously there's going to be a charge here, so we've got Overwatch from the intercessors. They did move in the previous turn. Okay, so we get 1 hit, 1 wound, which is saved, I think. So the charge is going to be an automatic success anyway, I believe. So let's get these guys into combat. It's going to be a little bit tight to just kind of come into the back there like so. Just move these a little bit more towards there like that. Okay, so that's the charge phase over. Fight phase is coming right up. So we're going to do the dual power claws first. They all hit, they all wound, and I believe they all damage. So they're -2 AP, so that one goes through. That takes a wound off of the intercessors. Stick it on him for now. Okay, we've got a lightning claw there, so we've hit 1 wound, that's saved, and we have the, whatever that is, the power maul. 2 hits, 1 wound, which is not saved, so that takes out 1 intercessor. And got another power claw just there. 3 hits, 2 wounds, both saved. And then there's a power axe just over here. 1 hit, 1 wound, saved. That's everything. Okay, so we've got the sergeant and the trooper hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. With a 2-up save, they take a wound. Okay, I think that's 1 dead because they took a wound in the shooting phase, in the charge phase. Yeah, so as they took a wound in the Overwatch section of the charge phase, that's 1 of these guys gone, so I'm going to take that guy there. There we go, and then we get to consolidate, like so. So, morale. Lost 3 from this squad. That's good, they're okay, and then 1 from this squad, they can't really fail it, they're okay as well. So it's a bit of a messy first fight phase, so apologies for that. That's the end of turn 2 for Chaos. So we're at the end of turn 2 movement for the Space Marines. So the Terminators and the command squad have moved forwards just into the centre here, puts them within a 9-inch charge of the Chaos units here. Hellblasters have all just moved forwards. This one's come over the pipe, this one's come out from the corridor. This unit that was moving this way because of the Terminator threat is now moving back this way, so they've got to here and open the door. And same with this unit, opened this door and moved into this area to engage this unit of Terminators. So that's the end of movement. We're now looking at psychic. So closest visible enemy is the sorcerer, and that is a successful smite. Can it be denied? No, it cannot. So D3 mortal wounds for 3. So we're now into shooting, and we'll start with the Terminators. So these are all going to shoot across into the cultists. So first of all, we'll do the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, which gets 12 shots. And re-roll for the captain. So it's +1 because it's a heavy. That was a hit. 3s to wound. 4 wounds and a 6-up save. So that kills 4 of the cultists. We've then got 2 stormbolters that can see. Re-rolling for the captain. 3s to wound again with a 6-up save. So that's 5. And then we've got the 3 stormbolters in the command squad. Re-rolling. 3s again with 6s. Okay, so that's 9 of those cultists taken out by the Terminators. Let's leave those to one side for a moment. Okay, and then we've got 4 Hellblasters which are going to shoot at the Desolate ones. So 4 shots hitting on 4s because they've moved. Strength is 8, so 2s to wound. Okay, and 1 is saved, so that's 2 of the Desolate ones killed. Take that one and that one. Okay, so the only other shooting we can do are the 2 pistol shots. Both hit, both wound, both saved. That's the end of shooting. Charges are next. So I'm going to charge here first. No Overwatch. Those are all in. Move these guys so that they are as close as we can get. And then we're also going to try and charge into the sorcerer. So the sorcerer gets 2 shots. Reroll for the Lord, doesn't hit. And that's not enough. So that's a failed charge. That's the end of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. So we're back over here. So hitting on 3s. And wounding on 4s. With a 2-up save. Okay, so there's 2 1s in there. That's enough to kill another Terminator. So we'll take that guy there. Now the Terminators can fight back, so we'll do the Lightning Claw first. Okay, that's enough to take out 1 guy, so we'll go for that guy there. And we've got this guy with the power axe. Now, just get 2 attacks. Power axe gets 2 attacks. Power maul gets 3 attacks. Both hits, both wounds. 1 saved, 1 not. So him down to 2. And then this guy, he gets 3. So they hit on 3s, don't they? Yes, they do. 1 wound, and it is not saved, so he's now down to 1 wound. Okay, that's the end of the fight phase. So morale, we've got another guy gone from this unit. Again, he can't fail. Another guy gone from this unit. They're good. Real test is going to be the cultists. So they've lost 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, sorry. 9 plus 1 is 10. They have a leadership of 6, so another 4 will flee. That's basically the rest of that unit have fled back into the depths of the Space Hulk. So that's it for the Space Marines turn. It's Chaos turn 3 coming up next. Turn 3, Chaos movement phase is complete. The Desolate ones have moved forwards to get into a 7-inch charge range, as have the 2 members of the command squad just here. These 2 blips have just moved forward, standard move into this front of this room. No movement over the back here. Psychic phase, again smite onto the Terminators, which goes off on a 7. Is it denied? Yes, it is. Okay, so shooting is next. So we've got 11 bolt pistol shots into the Terminators, hitting on 3s. And wounding on 4s. Three up saves. Sorry, 2 up saves, that is. 2 wounds go through, so that's that guy dead. And 1 wound left. Taking him out from the back, but there we go. Okay, I've got a bolt pistol from the Sorcerer, which does not hit. And then the weapon on the Lord there, 2 hits, 2 wounds, and another one goes through, so that's another dead Terminator, and we'll take that guy there. Actually, no, we won't. We'll take that guy because I had the wound on it. Okay, that's the end of shooting. Charges are next. So charge here first of all. So this is going into the Terminators. So the Terminators are shooting their combi bolters, of which there are 2. They haven't moved, so 8 shots. Need 6s with re-rolls for the captain. So we get 3 6s. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds. And 1 goes through, so 1 of these guys is killed, and then they need a 7 for the charge, which they get. Also going to charge these guys in, so that's the Sorcerer in. However, the Lord has failed, so the Sorcerer makes it into combat with the Terminators, but the Sorcerer has failed that charge. That's the end of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. So fight phase, first of all we're going to pile in. It's about the best we can do at the moment. We want to get that guy a bit further in there. Whoops. There we go. And them round to there. Okay, so those are all piled in. So Berserker's attacking first. These are hitting on 3s. And they can re-roll because the Lord is within 6 inches. Fours to wound. Didn't actually see if there was any death to the false emperors in there, which was a bit of an oversight on my part. 2s to save. All saved. And then the sorcerer. Wounds. Saved. So now these guys get to fight back. So we've got 2 chain fists and a power sword. So we're yellow for the chain fists and white for the power sword. Re-rolling. Miss. That's a miss. Okay, those are all wounds. And actually the chain fist is -4 AP, so that is 4 dead, what are they? They're berserkers, 4 dead berserkers. And this one is a 5-up save, which is not saved, so that's 5 dead berserkers. 4, 5. Okay. Didn't actually fight with the champion, so wounds, but it is saved. So another 15 attacks going back because they're berserkers. 10, 15. Hitting the 3s. Re-rolling the 1s. Wounding on 4s. Again, forgot the death to the false emperors. And they're all saved. And we've got the champion. Death to the false emperor, remember at that time, 3 hits. 2 wounds. Both saved. Now the sorcerer, 3 attacks, re-rolling, so he gets 2 death to the false emperors for another 2 hits, 3s to wound, 2 wounds, -1 AP, both saved. Then the champion gets to fight back, re-rolling, 2 hits, strength is 6, so 3s to wound, and -1 AP, all saved. Okay, that's the end of that combat. Moving over to the Terminators over the back here. So having resolved this final combat, the Terminators have lost no wounds, but they have managed to take out the last sergeant in the right hand of the 2 intercessor squads. These guys fought back but did no damage. So that is the end of the fight phase. We are now looking at morale. So we need to do morale for these guys here. 6 + 5 is 11. So with a leadership of 8, they lose another 3 of their number. There we go, that's the end of Chaos turn 3. So movement for Space Marines for turn number 3, and literally just moved these intercessors forwards just to get into charge range of this squad of Terminators. These guys have stayed put. We've still got the combat going on here. The command squad will charge into that combat, I think, this turn. So that's the end of the movement phase. So Psychic next. Smite from the Librarian into the Berserkers, which he gets on a 6. can be denied, which it is denied on a 7. So that's the end of the psychic phase. In terms of shooting, it's not actually a lot that can happen. None of these have got bolt pistols on the Space Marine side. These guys can't shoot the character because that unit is closer. These guys are in combat. The only shooting we've got is the 5 bolt pistols from the intercessors into the terminators. So we get 3 hits and 1 wound, which is saved. So that's the end of shooting, and it's charges next. So we're going to charge over here into this combat. There isn't any Overwatch, and they really probably shouldn't have been that close in the first place, but there you go, those are all in. And then over this side, this squad is going to charge into the Terminators, and they get a 7. So a 7 is enough to get them into combat with a pile-in, which we'll do shortly. There we go. So it's the fight phase next. So pile in, obviously, that's what we said we were going to do, so we'll just go straight into that. There we go, those are all piled in. You'll just pile into there. And these guys are all as kind of close as they can get, really, so we'll leave those as they are. So that's the charge phase complete. Fight phase is just about to start. We're going to start here. We've got 22 attacks from the Primaris into the Terminators, hitting on 3s. Not terrible. Wounding on 4s. This is probably where we're going to drop a load. There you go, 5 wounds go through, 2 up saves. Right, so they managed to take a 1 wound off, so we'll pop that on that guy just there. Okay, so 3 lightning claw attacks from this guy, all hit with a death to the false emperor, I remembered, and all wounds. 5 up saves. Okay, so he manages to kill 1 of the intercessors, so we'll just take that guy out from that edge. We've then got the sergeant, or the champion, with his 3 attacks with his power maul. They all hit with a death to the false emperor. That's a miss. And they get 2 wounds, minus 1 AP. 1 goes through. Okay, and then we've got the attacks from this guy with his power axe. 1 misses. No wounds. That's the end of that combat. Space Marines didn't come out of that too badly. Would have liked to have done a few more wounds though. And then we're over into the middle. So we're going to do the chain fist attacks first, of which there are 4. So these are hitting on a 4, not a 3. Okay, so we get 3 hits, and these are strength 8, so wounding on 2s. 2 wounds, and minus 4 AP, and they do 2 damage each. However, that's enough to take out that guy and that guy. And we've got the sergeant with a power sword into the sorcerer, obviously. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, re-rolling for the captain. 3 hits, 4s to wound, 1 wound, it's -3 AP, not saved, does 1 damage, so the sorcerer is killed. Okay, and we've then got attacks from these 2 here. So the librarian gets 3 attacks hitting on 2s, gets a reroll for the captain, so that's 3 hits, and these are strength 5, so 3s to wound, 2 wounds, with a -1 AP, so it's a 4-up save, 1 goes through, and it actually does 2 damage, so that's enough to kill that guy there. So that is the end of the Desolate ones. Looking pretty grim for the Chaos side, however, they have still got 2 blips left on the table. Going to be a bit of a consolidation here to get closer towards the Chaos Lord, and then that'll be the end of turn number 3 for the Space Marines. So Chaos turn 4 movement is complete. All of the blips have now been revealed. So we've got the 20 Berserkers in this kind of crescent shape here, and then the next 10 Berserkers just piling out of this corridor. That's everything Chaos-wise on the table now. There is no Psychic because the Sorcerer was taken out in the last turn. So it's now the shooting phase. So let's do the Chaos Lord first into the Terminators. It's 2 hits, 1 wound, which is not saved. So that's 1 wound off of those guys. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do 19 bolt pistol shots into the Terminators, and then the champion is going to throw a grenade, because we haven't done anything with the grenade rules yet. So we'll see what happens with that. So 19 bolt pistols. So these are hitting on 3s. Reroll for the Lord. Wow, look at that. Every single one hits. Wounding on 4s. Even that's not bad. And a 2+ save. But they are all saved. Okay, then we've got the grenade, which is D6 plus 1 inch range. So it goes 3 inches. Awesome. So that basically reflects the fact that this guy has thrown a grenade. Probably what's happened is it's bounced off there and then come back and landed down here. So 3 inches from him is right on the front edge of that far Terminator. So this is going to hit pretty much both Terminators and then the 3 commanders. So it is 2. It's a frag grenade. So okay, so it causes a mortal wound plus a hit plus another hit. But those 2 are saved. So there is a mortal wound that goes through, and it's going to come off the nearest unit. So it's going to come off that Terminator. So he is taken out by that grenade. Wowzers. Okay, so we then got 4 more bolt pistol shots into the Terminators. Hitting on 3s. Re-rolling for the Lord. Wounding on 4s. 3 wounds. 2-up saves. They're all saved. Okay, that's the end of shooting. Charges are next. So first things first, the Chaos Lord is going to charge into the Terminators. So there's one Storm Bolter in there, so 4 shots, no hits, easily makes the charge. And we're then going to charge, let's move him across a little bit. So we'll just heroically intervene, I think, anyway, because these guys are going to charge into the Chaplain. So the Chaplain, again, will get 4 Stormbolter shots. Gets a reroll for the Captain, so he gets 1 hit. Does not wound. Is their charge successful? Yes, it is, easily. So we're just going to charge in to basically wrap around, because it's an 11-inch charge. So we can pretty much get all of these Berserkers into combat. I'll come back to you when this is all done. Okay, so they're all in combat, so we've wrapped right the way around. Pretty much got every unit in this melee now is base to base or near enough. There's, I think, 3 of the Berserkers that aren't quite close enough to get into combat range. So that's it for charges. Fight phase is next. I think we'll start over there. 2 Lightning Claws first. Death to the False Emperor. Okay, 3 hits, 3 wounds, 5 to save, 2 go through. So that's another Intercessor taken out. Then got the hammer, sorry, the axe. 2 hits, 2 wounds. Neither of those are saved, so that's another Intercessor taken out. We're taking this squad at the moment, so we'll take that guy. And then we've got the Champion with his Maul. 1 hit with a Death to the False Emperor, so 2 hits, 2 wounds, and -1 AP, so they're both saved. So we've then got 3, 5, 8, plus another 8, 3, 5. So all of these attacks back, hitting on 3s. Not so good as last time. Wounding on 4s. That's better. With a 2+. Right, so we've got 1 wound through, so that is another Terminator off the board. These guys are just going to consolidate. Okay, and then we're over to the centre. So we'll do the Chaos Lord first into the Terminators. So 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. They all hit, and there's a Death to the False Emperor in there as well. Okay, so 5 hits, 4s to wound, 3 wounds, and it's a 4-up save because it's -2 AP. Okay, so 1 goes through, and that does 1 damage. So that guy in there, down to 1 wound. Sorry, I should really point the camera at the combat rather than at the empty table area. Terminator is going to fight back, so 3 attacks from the Sergeant first, hitting on 3s, re-rolling, 2 hits, and that is 2 wounds. -1 AP, so it's a 3-up. Both saved. And then we've got the Chain Fist hitting on a 4, 1 hit. Wounding on a 2, that's a wound. And it is -4 AP. So this is the invuln save. So a 4 up, which is saved. Okay, now it gets a bit complicated. So we're going to do 3 attacks into the chaplain. Hitting on 3s. Death to the false emperor. Wounding on 4s. Oh dear. That's a wound. So that puts him down to 4. He's going to fight back. 3 attacks. Re-rolling for the captain. 3 hits. 3s to wound. They all wound. And -1 AP. 4 up saves. They're all good. Okay, we're then going to do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 attacks into the chaplain. Again, hitting on 3s. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 death to the false emperors in there. Okay, that gives us a couple of extra. Wounded on 4s. One goes through. So it's him down to 4 wounds. It's getting a little bit tight in there. Okay, and then we're also going to do the champion there with his claw. So 2 death to the false emperors. They hit. Strength is +1, so 3s to wound, but they're both saved. And then we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 more attacks into the Terminators. Hitting on 3s. 5 death to the false emperors. Look at that, amazing, they all hit. 4s to wound. And 2 up saves. Right, so there's 2 wounds that go through, so that's enough to take out the Terminator and drop the sergeant down to 2 wounds. Okay, we haven't fought back with the chaplain yet, so let's do that now. 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. They all hit. Strength is 5, so 3s. They all wound, and it's a 4 up save. Okay, so he does take out 2 of the berserkers. And then the Terminator fighting back, 3 attacks. Re-rolling, they all hit. And 2 wounds, -1 AP. That's another one dead. Okay, now we get to do all that again. Okay, so I just did the rest of that combat off camera just to speed things up a little bit. So the chaplain and the librarian have lost another wound each, but they did between them manage to take out another couple of the berserkers. These berserkers here attacked this Terminator but managed to do no damage. And then the captain here fought the Lord and managed to take off one wound with a mighty swing of his power sword. So that is the end of the fight phase. In terms of morale, there really is only the Terminator to worry about, and he's all good. So that is the end of turn number 4 for Chaos. So turn 4 for Space Marines is next. So Space Marines turn number 4, movement. Nothing moved here. Obviously these guys are still in combat. These guys aren't going to move because I don't want to lose the 3+ to hit in the shooting phase, and obviously there's still this massive combat going on over here as well. So no movement, but psychic. We're going to do a smite, and it's going to be on to the closest enemy, which is these berserkers, and that goes off on a 10. D3 mortal wounds for 2, so that takes out another 2 berserkers. Okay, so shooting is next, and what we're going to do is I'm going to do bolt pistols over here first. So we've got 7 bolt pistol shots. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. It's 1 wound, and it's a 2-up save, which is saved. And then the Hellblasters are all going to shoot at that squad of berserkers. Now, these ones are going to hit on a 3, these ones are going to hit on a 4. So, they haven't moved. However, I'm not 100% certain that they're actually in range for rapid fire, so I'll check that and then come back to you. Okay, so the front squad are within half range, however there's no point supercharging because these are 1 wound models, so I'm just going to use the standard profile, and we're going to do the yellow ones hitting on 3s and the red ones hitting on 4s. These are strength. Ooh. Strength 8. Sorry, no, strength. Yeah, strength 8. So 2s to wound, and they all wound, and that's -4 AP. So that is 6 dead berserkers. Okay, so fight phase now, and I'm going to start over here. So what have we got? We've got 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 attacks from the intercessors. Okay. 4s to wound. And 2-up saves. Oh wow. Okay, so that's enough to take out that guy. So 3 attacks. On 3s, 4 up to save. Right, that's enough to take out 1 more intercessor. Okay, and then over to the central area. So we're going to do the sergeant first into the Lord. So that's 2 hits. Two wounds. minus 3 AP, so it's the invuln of 4 up. 1 goes through, so that does 1 more wound. It's down to 4. And we're going to do the captain into the same unit. 4 attacks, re-rolling, 4 hits. Fours to wound, that's 2 wounds. And again it's minus 3 AP, so it's 4 up invuln. 1 goes through, that does another wound. Whoops, pipes are slipping around all over the place. The chaplain. This is into the berserkers, by the way. That's a miss. Okay, that's another dead berserker. And the librarian. And that's another one. I'll take that one from over there. Right. So, berserkers now get to fight back, as does the Chaos Lord. So we'll do the Lord first. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. This is into the Terminator. So that's 4 hits. 4's the wound. 3 wounds. Minus 3 AP. That is enough to take that guy off the table. Okay. That's actually now taken these these berserkers out of combat, so those 3 there cannot fight. So basically going to put all of these attacks into the chaplain. So it's 24 attacks from the berserkers, hitting on 3s. Whoops, that was a 1. With a re-roll on the 1s. Take out everything that's not a 3 first. And then we've got 1 Death to the False Emperor in there for an additional hit. And then these are wounding on 4s. Chaplain has a 2-up save. Okay, now he's got 3 wounds left. 3 of those go through. The chaplain is slain. And because they didn't pile in, they are now out of range of combat for the librarian, so they can't make their second attack. What they can do, however, is consolidate to just outside of 1 inch, like so. Okay, that is the end of the Space Marines turn for turn 4. Just need to do morale there. Okay, so they lose another 2. And morale there. Can't fail, I don't think. No, that'd be fine. Okay, that's it. That's the end of turn 4. Turn 5 for Chaos is coming right up. So turn 5 movement for the Chaos side. The Lord has just hopped over this pipe, and these 2 berserkers that were over here have advanced. They rolled a 3, so they've moved 9 inches across to here, looking at engaging these Hellblasters. Obviously this unit has stayed put wanting to take out the rest of the command unit here, and then there's the one Terminator left in amongst all of these intercessors. So no psychic, so we're going to go straight into the shooting phase, and we're going to start with the bolt pistols from these berserkers. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12 of them. And they are hitting on 3. Did they move? They consolidated. Is that movement? Kind of think it is, really. Hitting on 3s. They are within 6 inches of the Lord, just. Whoops. Should have declared these. We're going to put all of these into the librarian. Okay, so they're all saved. 2 shots from here into the Hellblasters, both hit, 1 wound, not saved, so one of those guys is down to 1 wound, and then we've got the 2 bolt pistols into that unit, reroll for the Lord, that hits, doesn't wound. Okay, that's shooting over, so charges are next. These are all going to charge, multi-charge into both of these commander units, these whatever they're called, characters. So Overwatch, they haven't moved, and they get 2 hits, forced to wound, both wound, 3 up saves. Okay, so they do take out one of these guys on the charge. Charge is going to be successful because they're literally just over an inch away. They roll a 6, so these guys are now gonna come barreling in to the librarian and the captain, like so. We'll do a charge here. That's so he needs a 4. And those guys need a 6. So 4 shots, 3 hits. Are they within 6 of the captain? Yes. Okay, 3 hits. 2's to wound. Oh, 1 wound, and it's -4 AP, so 4 up invuln, and he saves it. Jaw-dropping stuff. Okay, so he makes it in, and then these 2 need a 7, and they only get a 6, so they do not make it in. That's the end of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. So this poor beleaguered Terminator is going to have his attacks 3, so they hit. 3's to wound, they wound, -1 AP. So 2 of those go through, so that is another intercessor taken out. And then the intercessors get 3, 6, 8, 10, 12 attacks back. 9, 11, 12. 3's to hit. 4's to wound. 2 up save. This guy just will not die. Over to the Lord. So the Chaos Lord gets 4 attacks with his Power Claw, his Lightning Claw, whatever it's called. So 4 attacks hitting on a 2, but he gets to reroll. They all 4 hit. Lightning Claw is user strength. So strength is 4, so 4's the wound. Okay, but you can re-roll failed wound rolls for this weapon if a model's armed with 2 lightning claws each. Time it fights, it can make 1 additional attack. So I can re-roll wound rolls. So I needed 4s. Would you believe it? Gone from 0 wounds to 4 wounds. Okay, now the lightning claw is -2 AP, so they need a 5-up save. They do save 1, but 3 go through. And they're 1 damage a pop, so it's basically enough to take out that one and 1 on full wounds. Okay. Hellblasters are then going to fight back, so there's 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, re-rolling for the captain. So we've got 2 hits, 4's to wound. That is a save. Right, and then we're over into the centre, so 3, 6, 9, 12. 15 attacks there. So what we're going to do is 15 attacks into the librarian, 15 attacks into the captain, and then the champion will go into the librarian. So 10, 15 attacks going into the librarian first, hitting on 3s. They are still within reroll range of the Lord. Okay, and there's 2 death to the false emperors in there for an extra hit. 4's to wound. Okay, another wound goes through. So he's now down to 1. And then we've got 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 into the captain. Again, get a reroll on the 1s. And there's 2 death to the false emperors for an extra couple of hits. 4's to wound. Okay. So 2+ save, they're all good. We've then got the champion into the librarian. Reroll. No. Okay, so what did we say the minus AP was on the lightning claw? Yeah, so that's good. He has saved both of those. So librarian is going to hit back. So he gets 3 hits, 2 wounds, kills 1. Take that guy from that side. And then the captain, 4 attacks. Oh dear. Okay, so he doesn't do any damage at all. Right, now the berserkers get to fight again. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So these 15 attacks are going to go into the captain. Reroll the 1s. 3 death, 4 death to the false emperors in there. Okay. 4's to wound. And wound goes through, so the captain is down to 5 wounds. And then we've got 3, 6, 9 plus the champion into the librarian. 2 deaths to the false emperors. They all hit. 4's to wound. Right, librarian is down. Which is a blow. That's removed his smite power from the field. That does now put him out of range. So again, consolidate. Okay, morale for these guys. They're good. And they've already done their morale. They did it last time round. Right, okay, that's the end of that turn. So that's turn 5 for Chaos. Complete. Turn 5 for Space Marines is coming right up. Okay, so movement for turn 5 for the Space Marines, basically non-existent. These guys are in combat and I want to keep them in combat to keep the Lord tied up. These guys are not going to move because I want them to be free for shooting. Captain's obviously tied up in combat over here. And these guys need to finish off this last Terminator. So no psychic, so we're straight into shooting. So we're going to shoot. I'm going to overcharge because I want rapid fire, so I'm going to shoot these guys at this unit of berserkers. So it's 8 shots, hitting on 3s, but 1s obviously are possibly a little bit dangerous. Right, so we've got 1 in there. So if I'd have thought about it, I would have moved them slightly to get them within reroll range, because that may well have taken that roll away. However, I didn't think about that, so never mind. So that's 5 hits, strength 8, so this is 2s to wound, 4 wounds, minus 4 AP. There's only 3 wounds left in that unit, so they are slain, which is a huge relief. And one of those guys is dead. Bolt pistols, 5 of, all hit. 1 wounds, and it's saved. Okay, fight phase is next. Twelve attacks. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. 2 up save. 3 attacks back. Wounding on 3s. 4 up save is good. Stalemate over here at the moment. Into the centre. 5 attacks from the intercessors into the Lord. Re-rolling. Good. 4's to wound. Only 1 wound. And that is saved. He's going to fight back. 4 attacks. Well, that hits. Can re-roll the wounds. Doesn't make any difference. Saved. Captain. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. wounding on 4s, -3 AP, 6s to save. Well, would you look at that? They saved 2. That's 2 more dead berserkers, and then they get to hammer him back. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 standard attacks, plus 3 for the champion. 10, 15, 21, and then we'll just have 3 out there, just in case we use all these. So hitting on 3s, re-rolling the 1s. There's a couple there. Get another 1. Can see 3 death to the false emperors in there. Get another 3 hits. 4s to wound. This could be pretty serious for the captain. 2 up saves. Yeah, so he takes another 2 wounds. Puts him down to 3. Something that I'm not 100% sure of, and I need to look into. Khorne berserkers with chainswords. Each time the bearer fights, it can make 1 additional attack with this weapon. Because they're berserkers, they get to fight twice. This unit can fight twice in each fight phase. So I'm going to take that as being that they get to fight twice, regardless. I didn't do the champion. Reroll that. Okay, 2 hits. Can reroll the wounds. Doesn't cause any wounds. Right, so let's do that again then. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18, 21. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Re-roll those. Re-roll those. No, that's not very good. Wounding on 4s again. And 2 up saves. Well, he manages to save all of those, so he's not completely useless. 3 from the champion, re-rolling, 3 hits. Re-roll the wounds, 2 wounds. Oh. Right, that's pretty bad. That puts the captain down to 1 wound left. And that is the end of the Space Marines turn for turn 5. So it's Chaos turn 6 coming up next. So Chaos turn 6, not any movement going on because combat, no psychic. Shooting, there is shooting, so we've got 8 bolt pistols going into the captain. They all hit. 5 of them wound. 1 goes through, he's got 1 wound left. That's the warlord slain. These guys are going to consolidate towards the Hellblasters. Like so. Charge phase. They're going to charge. To get the rapid fire, these guys are going to supercharge. So they get 6 shots instead of 3. That's another 2. Although that's only 1 Hellblaster because they get 2 shots each. So 3 misses. That wounds, -4 AP, can't save it, so that's 1 more of these little terrors gone. However, that does kill another Hellblaster. Oh, didn't do 6s. In which case, that guy's going back. Charge. Oh! Does get them within an inch, just. Okay, fight phase. 3 attacks, hitting on 2s, 2 misses, 3s to wound, 4s to save. Not saved. Right, so we've got another wound off. And we've got 12 attacks from the intercessors. Hitting on 3s. Not great. Oh no. Well, could have been better. Winning on 4s. Again, about 50%. 2 up. Right. So that's the champion who has 3 wounds. So he's now down to 2 wounds. Slow and steady progress. Right. Captain, not captain, Lord. 4 attacks. All hit. All wound. -2 AP, so 5 up to save. 1 damage a pop, so that's him dead, and he is on 2 wounds. He gets to fight back. 3 hits, 2 wounds. Okay, so he does manage to get another wound off of the Lord. Alright, so these guys made it into the charge. They're going to pile in 3 inches. Which basically gets them all into combat range. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 attacks. Wow. I think it might be the end of the Hellblasters. We'll do the champion at the end as per usual. Hitting on 3s. I'm going to re-roll that one because that was cocked. Okay, I'm going to re-roll that one, and there's a 1 there as well. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Death to the False Emperors. Wow. Could be terminal for the Hellblasters. Pause to wound. Threes to save. That's that guy dead. And We've got the champion, 3 attacks. Oh my god. 3 death to the False Emperors, so he gets an extra 2. Wow, that's a reroll as well, because you can reroll the wound on the Lightning Claw. And 5 ups to save. Yeah, 3 wounds. That's him off the table. So it is not looking good for the Space Marines. They're whittling down the enemy, but not quickly enough. I just jump straight into combat right here. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounded on 4s, with a 2-up save. Okay, and then 4 attacks coming back. All hit. Reroll that wound. All wound. 5 ups to save. Takes 2 wounds. He is dead also. And then we're over the back here. So 12 attacks for the intercessors. Need to make these count. Hitting on 3s. Wounded on 4s. Let's reroll that one. Two ups to save. Oh, they do manage to get another wound. Three attacks back from the champion. Right, that's a wound, so that guy is killed. So that's the end of Space Marines turn number 5. I don't know what to say. I can't see the Space Marines winning. These guys are going to get into combat within 2 turns. Even if they take that Terminator out, I imagine they're going to lose 1 more, which is going to leave 8 close combat attacks against potentially 24 close combat attacks. So they're outnumbered 3-1. Plus, we're not taking into account the Lord over here as well. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to say it's a chaos victory. Even though the objectives didn't come into play, we only used 1 grenade. We didn't use any of the control panel rules. I don't really think we had enough models on the board when it came down to it. And I think if I'm going to play this kind of scenario again, I need to rethink the victory conditions, because, as I say, these objectives are too far out. They needed to be in the middle, where they were actually worth playing for. So there you go. Chaos victory. Poor old Space Marines got hammered again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.